Brought to you by...
The loss of a loved one can lead to unparalleled consequences. The sudden severance can lead us down dark paths, derail us from what we should be focusing on, or turn us toward comfort in less than trustworthy sources. It's even more complicated when you already had a tumultuous relationship with the departed, leaving us with feelings that will never find resolved, and a sort of instability that is hard to bounce back from. However, the worst is being a child, already unsure of the world around you, and grounded by your parents as a sort of anchor to the rocky tides of life. Losing one of them so suddenly throws you off kilter and leaves you to seek solace in anything that offers a loving embrace. Hello friends, and welcome back to ETF. After the death of her mother, a lonely young girl's grandfather sues for custody, and the puppets made by her artist father suddenly start coming to life. This one opens us on a basic digitally created opening credits montage, which does relate to the themes utilized in the plot, but feels very outdated, like a late 90s, early 2000s opener. The early moments of this film are spent building up the discomfort of this broken family situation. An ex-husband and wife in the midst of a heated separation, with their young daughter trapped in the middle. Our protagonist is your basic struggling artist who has trouble finding work or holding down a job in his chosen profession. Because, let's face it, no one ever wants to pay creative types for their work, am I right? This makes him out to be a deadbeat dad in the eyes of his ex-wife and her family, and somewhat neglectful to his own daughter. The ex-wife is painted as this violently vindictive bitch, because we are witnessing these proceedings alongside the father, who is a struggling artist who can't catch a break. Luckily, she is killed in a hit and run while on the phone in a heated argument with him, so we don't have to suffer through her horribly heartless bullshit for too long. Honestly, the time we do spend with her in this film was enough to make me want to strangle this bitch with a ream of fucking barbed wire. Visually, this film goes for a wildly artistic approach that plays into the husband's uniquely dark and comic book style. This film utilizes some blends of modern compositing and CGI, which don't hold up too well in the final render. As an artistic choice, the film depicts the little daughter's toys as twisted and somewhat horrific, almost Burton-esque. This is meant to stem from the father's artistic style. The color within this one is utilized quite well, maintaining a dark and visceral vision, but splashing in some harsh reds and deep blues at times, to emphasize the sadness and rage seething beneath the surface. I just love when a film takes the time to explore a much more rich color palette. Don't you? Come on, guys. You didn't think we were going to get through a movie about an artist and the film's color palette without talking about some beautiful works of art that celebrate the color palettes of your favorite films, did ya? Movie palette is one of the most unique forms of movie-related art that I have ever seen. Movie palette is an eye-catching and unique piece of artwork that holds a deep secret. Your friends and family will be intrigued by the fascinating story that each movie palette has to tell. Every stripe represents a color of a particular scene in a movie. Each stripe is put in chronological order to give you a perfect representation of your favorite films in one beautiful work of art. The effect is a stunning and accurate representation of the colors and vibrancy found in your favorite movies. As its secret is revealed, Movie Palette is sure to become a conversation piece as you try to guess which color represents which scene. The best part of these, for me, is that it's a piece of art that showcases the visual look of a film through the captivating color palette that makes it capture our imaginations. Not often do we see the color of a film so beautifully celebrated, which is why ETF has partnered with Movie Palette to bring you this exclusive offer. Head on over to moviepalette.com, pick the movie palette of your favorite film, and use promo code EMBRACE15 at checkout to get 15% off your purchase. That's EMBRACE15 to get 15% off your purchase from Movie Palette. Now, back to the video. Not long after the accident, this film chooses to hit the ground running with its horror elements. Almost immediately after the wife's death, our protagonist begins having horrifically nightmarish visions. This film doesn't shy away from showing us the monsters that dwell in the dark, though they are blended into the scenes with lighting and shadow. They are clearly visible much of the time. Throughout this one, the world surrounding our protagonist seems inherently influenced by him. We are seeing the film through his eyes, experiencing it alongside him, which might explain why his daughter's toys are reminiscent of his art style, why she seems to share his dark form of expression, and it's definitely why the entities that plague them take on the forms of his creations. We jump in and out of these red-washed waking nightmares that he is experiencing, where he is confronted by the entities that are haunting his mind. I couldn't help but wonder if these were representations of his conscience, plaguing him for maybe what he has done. For me, this was a film that relied too heavily on digital effects in order to sell the nightmarish visuals. I feel that this one carries a strong enough story, which is carried by its well-written characters, but the reliance on CG elements just sort of brought down all the scares. The twist in the end is a decent enough one, but one that a seasoned filmgoer will easily be able to sniff out as the story progresses. It isn't the direction I really wanted to see it go, but I guess it was okay, and its climax kind of builds to a series of moments that just feel flat and have no real substance to them. I have to give Separation a D+. Unfortunately, this one just didn't do enough for me. Its story wasn't compelling enough to keep me engaged, and its characters were somewhat underdeveloped. I will say that there was some effort put in to try and make them a little more relatable and deep, but it just wasn't compelling enough. Well, friends, that's going to be all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please help out a struggling puppet and consider supporting us on Patreon. I'm in the middle of rolling out a bunch of new and exclusive content over there just for supporters that I think you guys are really going to like. As always, stay safe, and thank you for watching.